In this part of the tutorial, we are going to create a simple grid view using the screen width which we fetch from MediaQuery size of width here. So based upon this particular parameter, we are going to design a grid view such that it will accommodate the required number of columns according to the device screen size. So now let's get quickly started with this particular tutorial. And before getting started with this particular tutorial, in our previous tutorials we have covered these particular topics using MediaQuery, like orientation, screen width, height, pixel ratio, text scale, and also we are able to detect the brightness, that is the dark mode or light mode, which is turned on the device level, so that we can customize even our application to that particular theme, if it is like a dark mode or light mode, according to the user customizations which were made earlier on the device. So if you are watching this tutorial for the first time, I suggest you to go through these particular tutorials, and the link for these tutorials I am providing in the description section below. And now let's get started with this particular tutorial, and I'm going to quickly create a stateless widget like grid example, as we are going to deal with a grid view based on the MediaQuery width we fetch here. And the first thing what I want to do is, like, I want to make use of this width here and try to detect the number of columns that are to be displayed based upon the width of the screen. So now I'm going to remove this center widget and make the grid example over here. And the next thing is try to calculate. So int cross axis count here equal to screen width is less than 600. So this is mostly considered to be like a mobile device, then display 2 columns onto the screen, or else screen width is less than 1200, then display 4 columns onto the screen, or else 6 columns onto the screen. So this is a cross axis count that I require, so that I can provide this variable to the grid view and make the number of columns displayed onto the screen. So here I'm going to remove this constant placeholder, and the first thing I require is a padding on all sides. So at insert dot all, and I'm going to specify 8.0 on all the sides. And the next thing is I'm going to consider a child here, and so in the child let us make use of a grid view dot builder, and here we have got a grid delegate and item builder, and let us specify them. So I'm going to make use of a sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count here, and you might be now able to answer from where we got this cross axis count. So previously we have calculated and stored the cross axis count into the int variable, and we are going to make use of it. And the next thing is, like, we are going to specify cross axis spacing here. So how much space do we require? And the next thing is main axis spacing. So both the things I'm going to specify 8.0, and again you can customize these things according to your requirement. And now here comes the specifications for the fixed cross axis count. And the next thing what we are going to show is item count here. So the number of items we require, I'm going to specify 20 items for now. So this is an example, so I am specifying a static count. In real time you can get the length of your, the real time based upon the array list size, you can specify the item count. And now comes the item builder here, and the first thing here we require is like context and then index. position, and from here we can create our the grid view design here. So I'm going to make use a container, and inside the container let us specify a color. So colors dot, I'm going to specify purple here, and for the container I'll specify the child to be a text view. So this is a simple grid view where we are going to have only a text widget, and this particular text widget is like item I'm specifying, and inside the dollar I'm going to specify index. So don't specify text widget as a constant because it will change dynamically. And the next thing is styling here. So for the styling, as we have specified purple as the grid column color, then here we need to specify some color for our text, and this color I'm going to specify like color dot colors dot white. Okay, and here you can make it const. Okay, and I think this is what we get a basic grid view, and we have connected it over here, and now you can make it a constant, I think. And now let's try to run this particular code quickly onto the iOS simulator, and let's quickly review the code what we have written here. So we have taken the cross-axis count based on the screen width, and you can also adjust these calculations depending upon your requirement. And also here we have specified a padding like E8 on all sides, and cross-axis spacing, main axis spacing, and we have considered the index position and try to specify the same here. So it will be like item 1, item 2, item 3, and all those things. And now let's try to wait. Okay, we have got an error like error expected semicolon. So where do we got this error? Yeah, so in the container. And now let's try to quickly rerun the code, and this time I hope we get this particular code up and running. And yes, now the application is now installed onto the. Okay, so here you can see this is not in the center, so quickly wrap with center. And the next one more thing, I want to make it size here, font size of 16, and quickly save the code. And yes, this looks better. So item 0, item 1, and now here you can see we have got 2 columns onto the screen, and when you rotate here you can see we have got 4 columns. So when we'll get 4 columns, you can see the screen width is less than 1200 and greater than 600, then we'll get 4 columns. And you can also test the last one, like if the screen width is greater than 1200, then you will be getting the 6 columns. So this is the basic example which I want to demonstrate using the width we get from MediaQuery, and also there are even other ways of dealing with this particular grid column, and the code for this tutorial I am providing in the description section below. So I hope you found this tutorial interesting, and also suggest you to go through the previous tutorials if you are not aware of those concepts. And if you like this tutorial, do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content on Flutter.